Hello dear students, welcome to my channel Excel in English. Today we will discuss the poem titled Gifts of Grace, Honoring Our Vocations from your Class 9 English book Kaveri. The title itself tells us so much. Here gifts refer to the skills and abilities people use in their work. These are called gifts or blessings as they allow the workers to contribute to society. And grace suggests the beauty, care and dignity in doing that work well. So the phrase gifts of grace suggests something valuable and special that is given with care and skill. Next, honoring our vocations. A vocation is not just a job, it's a work that requires skill and dedication. And honoring means recognizing the inherent worth in every job rather than ranking them as high or low. So honoring our vocations simply means respecting different professions, that every job deserves our respect and pride. Thus, the title tells us that every profession is a gift to society and deserves respect, that every kind of work is valuable, special, and that every worker deserves respect and appreciation. Let's now see how the poet brings these ideas to life through different voices. I hear Bharat celebrating the varied vocations I hear. So the poem begins with the poet as a listener. The poet says that he can hear Bharat, that is India, celebrating. Here celebrating does not mean a festival, it means appreciating and honoring. Now what is Bharat celebrating? She is celebrating varied vocations. The word varied means different kinds, and vocations, you already know, it means a person's occupation, his trade or profession. So the poet is telling us that in India, work is not a burden or a boring task. It's a reason to be happy, to celebrate. So the poet hears India appreciating and celebrating the different kinds of work done by her people. Also, notice the repetition of I hear. This creates a sense of sound and rhythm, as if many voices from across the country are coming together. Those of craftsperson, each one celebrating their craft. A craftsperson is someone who is skilled in making things by hand, like a potter, carpenter, or artisan. So the poet is now talking about these skilled workers. They are celebrating their craft. Craft means the skill or the art of making things by hand. This means each craftsperson takes pride and joy in his work. And how is the work? Woven with colors and myriad hues. Woven comes from the word weave, which means to join threads together to make cloth. Here it does not mean real cloth, it means carefully created or put together with colors and myriad hues. Colors, are simple, we all know colors. But what does myriad hues mean? Myriad means a very large number, and hues means shades or different tones of color. So myriad hues means many different shades of colors. So the poet is saying that the work of the craftspersons is like a fabric or cloth which is beautifully woven with many colors. This shows that their work is full of variety, full of creativity and full of beauty. Each craft, each profession is unique and has its own contribution to society, just like the different colors and shades together create a beautiful, vibrant and complete picture. The artisans with lutes, each hailing varied emotions and celebrating dreams, echoing in the streets. Here the poet is talking about artisans, that is musicians or artistic people. playing musical instruments like lutes. Well, a lute is an old-fashioned stringed instrument like a guitar. But these musicians aren't just playing background music. They are hailing varied emotions. These means through their music, they are expressing different feelings like happiness, sadness, bravery, love, sympathy, etc., and celebrating dreams. This means their music also expresses hopes, wishes, and dreams of people, which are echoing in the streets. When a musician plays the instrument, the music echoes, that is, spreads through the streets, it feels the surrounding, reaches so many people and creates an emotional connection with them. So the streets of our Bharat are full of the music expressing people's emotions and their dreams for the future. The carpenters celebrating, they create anything out of wood with mathematical precision. Next we see the carpenters. The poet says that they create anything out of wood with mathematical precision. This is a very strong phrase. It means doing work with perfect accuracy and exact measurements, just like in mathematics. It shows that carpenters measure and cut wood very carefully so that everything fits perfectly. Hence, we realize that carpentry is not just manual labor, it requires a high level of skill and accuracy. The electricians humming, they get ready for work. So we move to a more modern hero, the electrician. Notice the word humming. Humming suggests a low continuous sound. It shows their energy and enthusiasm, their happiness and joy at work as they get ready. Work with cables and wires to brighten our lives. This line has a double meaning. Literally, these electricians fix our lights and brighten our homes, but figuratively, they bring light or comfort to our homes, to our lives. Without their hard work, our modern world would be in the dark. The boatmen gathering their nets from the shore, sailing and singing while at work, return to tell the tales of life at sea. Now we move to the rhythm of the water. We see the boatmen. Their work starts with gathering or collecting their nets on the shore and then sailing into the deep blue. Notice that they are singing while at work. This tells us that even though fishing is a tough and dangerous job, there is music and joy in it. And when they come back, they don't just bring fish, they bring tales of life at sea. They come back and share stories of their exciting experiences and adventures at sea. They connect this mysterious world of the ocean to those of us living on land. The shoemakers affirming the quality of their work for the feet that walk, dance, run, jump, return home. The poet now talks about the shoemakers. They are affirming the quality of their work. This means they are confident about the good quality of the shoes they make. They take great pride in making sure that the shoes are strong and perfect. But why? Look at the action words used here. Walk, dance, run and jump. The shoemaker knows that his work supports every human movement. Whether you are simply walking down the street, dancing at a party, running a race or jumping with joy, the shoemaker's gift of grace is right there under your feet, protecting you until you return home. Hence, it's a very humble but essential job. The delicious singing of the cook. Now, usually the word delicious is used for food, but here the poet uses it to describe singing. This phrase actually can be understood in two ways. On a simple level, it may mean that the cook is actually singing or humming while working, showing enjoyment in his work. On a deeper level, the poet compares cooking to music. Just as a singer creates melody, a cook carefully mixes ingredients to create a good dish. Also, the sounds of cooking like chopping, sizzling, boiling, all these create a kind of rhythm and music. So to the poet, the cook's work feels as pleasant and as satisfying as a song. Now, joyful work always creates a wonderful result, isn't it? Or the rhythm of designer, mason. Rhythm usually means a regular steady pattern or beat in music. Here it refers to the regular and repeated movements in their work. For example, a mason, he lays bricks one by one, or the designer, he carefully creates patterns. These actions follow a steady flow and pattern. This shows that their work is not messy or disorganized. It is very much organized and skillful, each celebrating what belongs to them and to none else. This means each person is proud of his own unique skill and work, which is special to only that person. No one can lay bricks exactly the way the mason does that. So, the mason's skill is unique to him, and the same goes for the others as well. The voice of their vocation is the voice of their identity. Finally, we get the big message of the poem. This tells us that people are not just defined by their names, but by the work they choose to do with their hands and hearts. For these people, work is not just what they do to earn money, it is who they are. Their vocation becomes their identity, their name, and their pride. I hear Bharat celebrating the varied voices I hear. We have reached the final line, and notice the opening line is repeated here but with an important change. At the beginning, the poet heard varied vocations which focused on the different kinds of work, but here at the end, the poet hears the varied voices. This shows that now the focus is not just on the work but on the people behind the work. From the humming electricians to the singing boatman or cook, each worker's effort, skill, and expression come together to form the voice of the nation. So, the poem ends by celebrating not just the professions but the identity and importance of every individual in Bharat. To wrap up our lesson, let's quickly look at the key points of the poem. First, about the author. The poet is anonymous, that is, a writer whose name is not known. The inspiration of this poem comes clearly from Walt Whitman's famous poem, I Hear America Singing. Like Whitman, our poet also celebrates the spirit of the common workers, of course, of our country, Bharat. Now you will notice that there is no fixed rhyme scheme. There is no fixed regular meter here. It is written in free verse. This is a deliberate choice to create a special effect. By not using a strict rhythm, the poem sounds natural and conversational, just like real life sounds and voices you would hear on a busy street in Bharat. Finally, let's talk about the heart of the poem, the theme. There are four main themes you should remember for your exams. First is the dignity of labor. The poet shows that no job is small or low. Every job is important and dignified. The second one is unity in diversity. That is, even though there are many different professions, they all come together to form one strong living nation. The third one is celebration of skills and creativity. The poem highlights that work is not just a burdensome task, it is an act of creativity. Every time a worker uses his skill, he is actually celebrating his talent. Last one is work as identity. So finally, the poem tells us that our vocation is our voice. It is not just what we do, it is a vivid reflection of who we are. So that brings us to the end of the explanation. Study well, stay happy, stay connected. Thank you.